any semblance of liability, responsibility, and gullibility, we must tell you the views represented on this show are not necessarily those of this station or its management. This radio show contains differing points of view on current political topics, and due to the nature of its contents, it should be heard by everyone. Thank you for listening.
3, 2, 1.
Now live from the heart of liberal Wisconsin, where the political party is just beginning, welcome to the Devil's Advocate Show. Best friends proving it's never personal, only politics.
Please allow me to introduce myself.
Now here are your hosts, Dom and Crute.
Welcome back. Hour 2 of the Devil's Advocates radio show. Back to my day job.
All right.
How you doing, good buddy?
Good, man. Welcome back, Crudy.
Dominic, we'd like to welcome a fine guest live in studio. He's Shane Falk. He's formerly with the Government Accountability Board. He is an attorney by trade. And my understanding, he has been hired by the Crute for Wisconsin campaign to provide legal counsel. These are treacherous times for new political candidates. Shane Falk, welcome back to the big show.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Hey, Shane. Thanks, man.
You're welcome.
So, Shane Falk, I was just asked the question a few minutes ago, off air. What is the process for running for governor? What is the technical step one must take to run for governor?
Well, one of the things you have to do is if you start accepting money or spending money on a campaign, you have to file a campaign registration statement. It's simple as that. The next step is filing your declaration of candidacy and nomination papers, which you've got to circulate. But that deadline's not until June 1st.
So that's when you need to qualify petition to get on the ballot. You need 2,000 signatures for the office of governor. One distinction I would point out for those in the audience, because right here at the Devil's Advocates, I'm sure we got many politically active people that are going to start seeing these circulated campaign petitions, but you can only sign one.
For one candidate.
For one gubernatorial candidate.
That's
so my
correct.
understanding, there were 9 viable ones this morning, 10 now, and several others that apparently are also throwing their hat in the ring. But every single one of them must acquire 2,000 or more independent signatures that must be verified. I mean, that can be a daunting task. Just with the 10, you're talking about what? Roughly 20 to 25,000 signatures just to qualify for the ballot.
That's correct. And in my time when I did work for the Government Accountability Board, we'd often see signatures struck because they had signed more than one candidate's nomination papers. And so the first signature is the only one that will count. So whoever was the candidate that was fortunate enough to get the first one, that counts there, and then it would.
Is that predicated on date of signature on the petition?
Correct.
But let's say someone signed 5 different petitions, only 4 of those signatures would be thrown out. It's not like uniformly they're all 5.
Correct. One would count, and that's it.
Now, Shane, I got to ask you, campaign finance law here in the state of Wisconsin, perhaps where you've made your reputation, and we've had plenty of opportunity to talk here on this big radio show. Coordination is permissible in the state of Wisconsin. And while you have been hired on to work for the Crute for Wisconsin campaign, Dominic and I have known you through your fine legal work on behalf of our sponsors, the People for People Corporation. Under the John Doe 2 ruling of the Wisconsin Supreme Court, we've created this unique campaign finance law in the state of Wisconsin. It is effectively the Wild West. Anything within reason, and perhaps not even within reason, but damn near anything is permissible. Let's talk about 501c3s. I am on the board of a 501c3. Shane, is that going to be problematic? Is the Crute for Wisconsin campaign going to conflict with Michael Crute sitting on the board of the People for People Corporation?
Because of the John Doe 2 decision and then the legislature changing the statute, as long as the People for People Corporation only does issue advocacy, does not cross the line into express advocacy, you can sit on the board, you can coordinate your advertising and expenditures and message, even as long as they're issue ads, and there's no application of Chapter 11, which is campaign finance statutes in Wisconsin. The legislature has carved it out. The only thing that Wisconsin regulates is express advocacy. So as long as you stay with issue advocacy, you can do whatever you want.
And the differential, the line in the sand, if there is one anymore, the only difference between issue advocacy, educating of the Wisconsin populace, often sounds a lot like political ads, and the actual express advocacy is the magic words, right? Vote for, vote against. And as I understand the reformed campaign finance laws in the state of Wisconsin, you almost need the prior consent of the campaign or something of that sort. I mean, it's really almost an unreachable standard to feel like there's any coordination, even with these express advocacy groups. Seemingly, literally, it is the Wild West for campaign finance laws.
When you're dealing with an issue advocacy group, whether it be 501c3, 527, or whatever, absolutely. Wild, Wild West.
Now, when we first started, when Dominic and I were approached and we decided to join the board of the People for People Corporation, I know that because you were the attorney and we were there as some of these things were getting set up, I know that at that time it was something of an exercise in pointing out the corruptness of the current campaign finance laws. The governor of the state of Wisconsin was breaking laws when he was coordinating with third-party groups. And of course, he's gotten his get-out-of-jail-free card from the Wisconsin Supreme Court. But I guess my point is this. That started as something of a radio thing. That's something we did to help educate the populace. But it's grown into something more. And it has been legitimized by the, 1023 filing. The legitimization comes from the IRS. The IRS has acknowledged the tax deductible, the tax filing status of the 501c3, the People for People Corporation. So while it might have a name that sounds a little bit humorous, it is a completely legitimate, independent organization that could or may not coordinate with candidates' committees, perhaps Recruit for Wisconsin.
It's a dead serious legal vehicle by which you can accept large, undisclosed donations.
Could they be sweet, dark money corporate donations?
Yes, they can. And it can be from Native American tribes. It can be from individuals sending a $5 million check. Nobody has to know about it. Nobody has to declare it, and it can be kept confidential. And then the Recruit for Wisconsin campaign can coordinate with them as long as they're only doing issue ads and allow for an alternate opportunity for the campaign to get its message out.
Folks, you're listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show on Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network. Attorney Shane Falk joins us in studio. Shane, when this first came out in the state of Wisconsin, it was done in the cover of darkness. No one really knew what was going on, and there was John Doe's, and this went up to the Wisconsin Supreme Court, which essentially acknowledged, hey, yep, they can do it. They gave Walker a get-out-of-jail-free card, as we like to say here on the show. But is it now appropriate that this is entirely legal for the People for People Corporation to specifically ask for donations because Recruit for Wisconsin asked for it? Like Walker said when he was funneling money through his other third-party groups. Is that okay to do?
Are you asking me if morally it's a correct thing to do?
I think the question is
it
legally, is it
yes.
permissible?
It's 100% legal.
Yeah.
Now, if People for People Corporation wanted to coordinate with a federal candidate, they're going to have a problem because
Right.
still at the federal level, coordination even over issue advocacy still technically is illegal. Okay, but at the state level, completely legal.
So on the state level for a gubernatorial campaign, what is the maximum amount allowed to be able to contribute to that committee?
$20,000
$20,000
for a campaign cycle, yes.
So if someone had more than $20,000, or even if they had $30,000 and didn't want to, and wanted to take advantage of like the tax deductibleness of a 501c3 donation that could be coordinated, they could be encouraged to do that directly through a third party. Is that correct?
Correct. And if you remember back to the press reports that came out from some of the public documents that were released during the John Doe, that was one of the activities that then Governor Walker engaged in, was raising money for the Wisconsin Club for Growth. And then using that money for issue ads. And certainly if a donor goes to Recruit for Wisconsin and says, hey, I've got $50,000 I want to donate, Recruit for Wisconsin can only accept the 20. but then could say, okay, well, you can send the 30 to People for People Corporation, and then I'll still get to use it.
Shane, that seems totally corrupt.
Very. You
But
asked
that
if
is-
it was legal, not if it was moral.
So it's permissible under Wisconsin campaign finance law, effectively because Scott Walker was breaking prior legal precedent in the state of Wisconsin. My words, Scott Walker was coordinating with third-party groups, which was illegal when he was doing it. So I guess, ultimately, it seems damn corrupt. It seems like those SOBs will do anything to retain the power that they have galvanized under Scott Walker. And I got to tell you, I cannot imagine a candidate giving away any of the tools in the toolbox this early in the process, while I suspect there are those that will seek to rise above the corrupted campaign finance laws in the state of Wisconsin. From my understanding, the Recruit for Wisconsin campaign will not be one of those campaigns. They will do what is legally permissible in the state of Wisconsin, just like Scott Walker will do.
Recruit for Wisconsin certainly can take advantage of it, and it's perfectly legal. Whether or not Recruit for Wisconsin gets some blowback because of that, and the position it puts that campaign in is another question altogether.
Well, blowback, but technically, legally, entirely permissible as we understand the law as set forth in the John Doe 2 ruling, Scott Walker's get out of jail free card.
Well, and I listened to the interview of candidate Crute earlier, and it's clear he's going to have a struggle with money. And at this point, because it's legal, this is a great way for him to be able to catch up and surpass some of the other candidates.
I like the way you think, sir. Shane Falk, a fine attorney. He is counsel for the new Recruit for Wisconsin campaign. He has long been the legal counsel for the People for People Corporation. He's helping keep our audience abreast of the fact that anything goes here in the state of Wisconsin. Corruption that's not the litmus test. Legally permissible means pretty much any damn thing. Come back with us. We'll clarify other things that could be done. Recruit. 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 Recruit.
Will there be a lawsuit? Yeah, probably.
The only election I've ever won was Milwaukee's Best Local Entrepreneur 2017. I'm not your typical politician, but I'd like to be the next governor of the state of Wisconsin. I've acted as a fiduciary for my clients for the last decade, putting their needs before my own. I will do the same for you. Red and blue, R's and D's, we all do business with each other on Main Street. We're all Badgers. It's time we started acting like it. This message paid for by Recruit for Wisconsin. Find us at recruitforwisconsin.com.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Are you tired of being taken for granted? Are you tired of politicians who give nothing but lip service to your needs? Join me as we broadcast live from Coffee Makes You Black, 2803 North Teutonia Avenue from noon to 3 p.m. this Saturday, April 21st. We will be joined by Resistance Radio's own Michael Crute, a candidate for the governor of the state of Wisconsin. He will be there to listen to your concerns and take them all the way to the State House.
I was on Zero Res Madison's Facebook page the other day, and they have almost 2,000 testimonials from local customers. Apparently, I'm not the only one stoked on how cool this company is. A green technology that actually works better and doesn't cost more. It's a no-brainer. I'm in. We are starting our own Devil's Advocates revolution to free your carpets from harsh chemicals and soaps. Call Zero Res today and ask for the Dom and Crute special 608-848-9000 or schedule online at ZeroResMadison.com. Zero Res, spell it forward or backward. It's the right way to clean.
Have you outgrown your house? Are you sick of apartment living? Not ready to buy but know you need to move? Hi folks, this is Tom Hartman for CCL Management in Middleton. You should consider moving up to one of the finer rental homes CCL Management represents. Unique houses and condos, always clean, most are pet friendly. Visit cclmanagement.com today to find your new home. CCL Management, Dane County's premier leasing and property management company.
Call CCL Management at 833-0009. That's 833-0009 or visit cclmanagement.com today.
Listen, as a hiring manager, I've got to tell you, the best job candidate isn't always the typical candidate. Sometimes they're a grad of life.
Meet the grads of life. Young adults of unique determination and experience, an ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
Sometimes the best candidates aren't the ones you're used to.
Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
This message is for all of you sitting in the passenger seat. And apologies if it gets a little uncomfortable, but how does it feel to be at the mercy of someone who thinks a random text is more important than your life? Someone who takes their eyes off the road while speeding along in a 3-ton hunk of steel. Freaky, right? Well, why not just ask them to stop? Or better yet, volunteer to text for them. It might be a little awkward, but believe me, you'll live.
Learn more at stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Charged, never convicted. Dom and Crute are the Devil's Advocates.
Too fast to prepare for things.
And we are back from the 420 break. Thank you so much for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show live on Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network, streaming on YouTube and Facebook, on Twitter at Devil Radio. And if you miss any of this fine program, you can go to the website and download interviews and podcasts at domandcrute.com.
Dom, it's been a little frantically busy up around here today, but we got to find guests to help us, kind of separate it all out, figure out what the do's and the don'ts are. He is legal counsel for Crute for Wisconsin, a man that needs very little introduction. He is Shane Falk, attorney at law. Shane, you got a little bit of your own bad reputation. I'm not the only one around here.
Yes, I do.
What'd you do?
Well, are you beyond gag orders of the courts? We know McIver was shut down by the courts in the federal courts. They continue to try and persecute those that were the investigators of the John Doe 2, those that worked at the GAB. I know that recently I saw that McIver was struck down by the federal courts. They've already visited this topic. You've already been vindicated twice now. So is the gag order off, or is there still legal machinations going on?
The McIver lawsuit is something separate altogether, dealing with the Federal Stored Communications Act. The Attorney General Schimmel is the one that was pursuing the contempt in the John Doe proceeding. That judge hasn't decided yet whether or not he's going to proceed with it. He felt that it's closed, it's done. From my perspective as an attorney, I think I have to continue to comply with the gag orders. Unfortunately for the judge and Governor Walker and Attorney Schimmel, they can't erase what's in my head. So clearly, with respect to how you use or your campaign uses the People for People Corporation to coordinate on issue ads and the messaging and things like that, I certainly have a little experience in the back of my head from other examples.
Shane, I'd like to think of you as my personal son of a bitch. And Scott Walker, to my opinion, is a corrupt son of a bitch. And if you're going to fight fire, you better bring fire. And I find you have demonstrated enough integrity to me. I have continued to hire you for legal counsel in both political work and also in my entrepreneur and my business work. So I don't share their opinion of you, but a lot of people think you're a bad man, Shane Falk. My kind of guy.
Well, over 45% of the state, I suspect. I still get hate mail occasionally as articles pop up in the paper or something with my name. And fortunately now sometimes they're losing track of where I'm at and it gets sent elsewhere and forwarded to me. But
we're going to have Josh Call, Democrat. He is running for Attorney General of the state of Wisconsin. My question of you, Shane Falk, is it possible legally to reopen and revisit the corruption, the campaign finance corruption that occurred here in the state of Wisconsin under the John Doe 2? A new attorney general, could they reopen this case?
I don't think so. Not with how the Wisconsin Supreme Court shut it down, even though they didn't specifically address the allegations of the Express Advocacy
Coordination with the Republican Governors Association's Express Advocacy arm that Scott Walker also allegedly did, that if you look in the dissenting opinion of Shirley Abrahamson, she basically said you didn't even address one of the criminal allegations. You basically ignored it, and that was coordination with Express Advocacy groups.
That is still absolutely illegal under the revised statutes following that Supreme Court decision. But unfortunately, with the Wisconsin Supreme Court having let it go and then the U.S. Supreme Court refusing to accept cert, I don't think even a new attorney general could reopen it. And the statute of limitations is getting close to expiring as well anyway.
Shane Falk, attorney for the Recruit for Wisconsin Campaign Committee and also the 501c3 People for People Corporation. That's going to be a very cool, a very convenient relationship for exploring coordinated campaigning in the future. I look forward to that. But Shane, last quick question. What's the worst that could happen to me?
Well, first you got to stack your Supreme Court, and then you'll be all set.
Well, I can't wait to get started. Folks, we are the Devil's Advocates. That is Shane Falk. He is fine counsel for the Recruit for Wisconsin Campaign Committee. Dim running for governor. That's Dominic. That's Fancy Brian. We'll go to break. We'll come back. Shane, thank you so much for your fine legal representation.
See you guys soon.
Thanks, Shane.
I'll do what it takes.
Having a great time.
Wanker!
You wanted to see me?
Yes, please, have a seat. So here's the thing. When this company brought you on, we took a chance on you. You didn't have that 4-year college degree we typically look for.
Right.
But we gave you a shot anyway. And since then, you've worked incredibly hard and given it your all.
Thanks.
You've been an important asset to the team, but I don't think you can be an intern here anymore. We want to hire you.
You're serious?
Absolutely.
Find your next great employee. Introduce yourself to the grads of life. Who are they? Talent worth knowing about. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
I won't let you down.
I know.
Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
Well, you are listening to Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network. Ooh, I just felt a trickle down. No, I don't recall doing it.
Scott Walker thinks Wisconsin should once again hire him as governor.
You wouldn't hire me to be a neurosurgeon.
This is a person who has not worked in the private sector since 1993.
You wouldn't hire me to run condos. You wouldn't hire me to run HP.
And has made his political career.
You probably wouldn't hire me to run the United States Senate.
By using divisive tactics to the benefit of his corporate donors.
The first step is we're going to deal with collective bargaining for all public employee unions. Because you divide and conquer.
Now he supports the largest publicly funded government subsidy of a foreign corporation in American history.
You know, they can go suck lemons.
And Scott Walker has yet to live up to his first campaign promise to create 250,000 jobs.
Is this a campaign promise, something you want to be held to?
Absolutely.
Scott Walker, we the people are done sucking your lemons. This message was paid for by the People for People Corporation. Donate online at p4ppc.org, p4ppc.org.
If you're like a lot of companies, you know you need IT, but you aren't sure where to start. That's where Five Nines comes in. Hi, I'm Todd Stryker, President and CEO. For almost 15 years, Five Nines has been providing IT solutions to companies just like yours. We'll show you the solutions that are right for your business and give you the roadmap to success in the future. Find us at fivenines.com. That's the number 5, NINES.com.
Tune in to The Resistance, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio. Start your weekday off with the Earl Ingram Show from 7 to 9 a.m. Next is the Stephanie Miller Show from 9 to 11. Then from 11 to 2, it's the Tom Hartman Program. At 2 o'clock, it's 414 Wisconsin. Then from 3 to 6, it's the Devil's Advocates. Mandatory listening. Wisconsin's Resistance Radio. For Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network, I'm Stu Daniels with your headlines. This Saturday is the 23rd annual Milwaukee Riverkeeper Cleanup to celebrate Earth Day. Volunteers are needed for over 60 locations along the Milwaukee River. Participants will receive gloves, trash bags, and a free t-shirt. After the cleanup, there will be a free party in Estabrook Park from noon until 2 o'clock. To register to volunteer, go to MilwaukeeRiverkeeper.org. The Bucks will try to even up their series with the Celtics tonight. They are in Boston for Game 2 of that series. And the Brewers lost to the Reds last night 10-4, ending Cincinnati's 8-game losing streak. Game 2 of that 3-game series is tonight at Miller Park. Outside, partly sunny today and then partly cloudy tonight. Lows in the upper 20s. For tomorrow, rain likely in the afternoon, highs in the mid-30s. Snow likely in the evening, possibly an inch or two of accumulation. I'm Stu Daniels on Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network.
The Devil's Advocates, where there's always time for Scott Walker bashing. Hashtag Walker bashing.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show. I want to thank our last fine guest, Shane Falk, counsel for the Root for Wisconsin campaign. Dom, thanks for joining me here, man.
Hey, thank you, Crudy.
Taking a little long commercial break there.
Not long enough.
You know, it really is troubling to me just how few limitations there are on what is permissible under campaign finance law in the state of Wisconsin. You know, someone should run for governor and change that.
That's a great idea, Mike.
You know,
but the whole point, and this is what really bothers me, is I don't think, number one, a large majority of the Wisconsin population is aware of the idiosyncrasies of Wisconsin finance law, especially as it is now. The whole point of campaign finance.
Are you sure it's idiosyncratic? Is it just idiocy? Because really, if anything goes down, I mean, does anybody want to live in a system that is completely corrupted?
No, of course not. That's the whole point of campaign finance laws in the first place. That's why when a committee is registered, you have to report the money that the campaign receives. I never understood the logic. Of course, the logic is to have an influence with money without having to identify the givers of that money. Now, I would rather have control of a house and a car and assets that I don't own, but I get to use anytime.
Well, let me just say, on behalf of our fine sponsors at the People for People Corporation, we'll never tell. We will take those secrets to the grave. That's all I got to say on that.
And I'm down, and that's the game the Republicans are playing, and that is the game that is set here in the state of Wisconsin, uniquely here in the state of Wisconsin. And I have a hard time believing that this would be okay. I think if you ask most people, hey, do you think that you should know who's giving money to politicians? Most people are going to say, well, yeah, of course we should know that.
Well, and I would say most people don't believe that corporations are people, and that free speech is not money. But that's the way it is here in the state of Wisconsin. We've got uniquely corrupted, perverted campaign finance laws, and we can all thank Scott Walker. And that's not even the part I take personally. I mean, the most indefensible thing Scott Walker has ever done, and I've said it many times on this show, The failure to expand Medicaid was a financially stupid decision, and it went against the best interest of like 80,000 Wisconsinites. And when President Barack Obama came to Milwaukee, you and I were there. I think we went viral that day, like 1.5 million views.
Oh, yeah.
We were very viral. But the reason, it wasn't Obama that was featured in that video. It was you and I talking about the reason Obama came to town. And the reason Obama came to town is because this community, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, had the highest enrollment in the federal exchanges. And the reason that came to fruition is because Scott Walker forced people that were Medicaid eligible under the terms of ACA Obamacare. It was supposed to be up to 136% of the poverty line, I believe. Well, Scott Walker left a big old unaffordable donut hole and forced people into the federal exchanges they could not afford. And now Scott Walker wants to pretend like he's for the people. He's going to prop up not the people, not the federal exchanges, but what the people that don't qualify for federal subsidies under the exchanges. In other words, he's propping up the insurance companies to the tune of $200 million, but he has still failed to expand Medicaid. And on the very same day, he had his hack attorney general go and sue to roll back Obamacare. Dom, you know, it might be a lot of fun to be a candidate, but I sure love doing this show. I'm not giving this up. This is still my day job. Walker bashing.
844-967-2789 if you want to join the Walker bashing. Hey, crew, did you see the headline? Governor Walker's using his veto power today.
I heard that he is turning his sales tax holiday into like a sales tax holiday week. He's taking 5 days through line item veto. It's a stupid idea. It's wasteful. It just, puts another $100 million hole in the Wisconsin state budget? And for what? So Scott Walker can buy some votes from those of us that have kids?
I mean, I guess.
Here's $100. Please vote for me. Scott Walker for governor.
That's essentially what it is. Sure. And of course, but I would agree with those that say all this does is going to, if someone's going to buy a product, and there's limitations on the dollar amounts that would apply under this legislation, to my understanding. Well, if someone's going to buy something and they're going to get a break on the tax, well, hell, I might as well just wait a couple of days.
Yeah, it's not any sort of savings. It's just money expenditure deferred, right? You just wait to the window. Well, it'll cost the taxpayers of the state of Wisconsin. We'll have to fill in the
What
gap.
does Walker ever care about the taxpayers of the state of Wisconsin?
But what's $100 million when you can give it to the registered voters of the state of Wisconsin right in the midst of your re-election campaign?
The hard-working, tax-paying voters.
You know, we've got a political party line. Some might think the Recruit for Wisconsin campaign is futile. I do not share that opinion. I will assure anyone listening to my voice right now, I am as serious as a heart attack. There is not an SOB that is more prepared to take on that SOB Scott Walker than I. I know this guy's record better than this guy knows his corrupted record. Could you see me and Scott Walker on a debate stage?
I'd love it.
Can you imagine his pandering, bumpers?
Those are the talking points
stickering
of the Democrats. That's what he's going to say. Same thing he said to Trump.
I'm not even legally, technically, I am a Democrat. I joined the party yesterday, 47 years into my life. You got to join some club if you want to run for government, right?
Yes.
So I joined the Democratic Party of the state of Wisconsin. If people didn't see the little clues I was dropping, maybe they should have been paying attention. But the Democrats, the Republicans, we got one power party galvanizing power, the Republicans. We got another party that's got no power, the Democrats. And I don't want to be, in this world, there are winners and losers. And I'm a winner. And I'm sick of being amongst the losers. I cannot tell you how great it felt
at Dallas
victory party. It's the first one I went to in my lifetime. Now, I've only been political for so long. Some may know the story of my son and his autism and getting involved politically. But it was really Scott Walker. I mean, when you and I first started doing this show, buddy, and I was telling this story, thought I'd sign up all my people. No, I got some good Republicans working for me. And you know what? I got a lot of good Republicans that sit across the desk from me. And I don't have a big problem with that. It's not the R behind their name. You know what I take great objection to here in the state of Wisconsin? Bad freaking governance. And we've had more than our share. When you can't even fix the roads, it's time to go, Scott Walker.
Here's a question that I've always pondered and I'd like to get your take on. How does an elected official serve both the constituents and the party?
You cannot do so. You cannot have two masters. And I would tell you this, as someone who has acted in a fiduciary capacity for a decade, the client, the voter, the people of Wisconsin, they've got to come first. You can't put your own self-interest before the people that put you in that office. But when you watch Scott Walker accepting massive campaign checks and coordinated corrupted efforts, when you got lead-based paint manufacturers giving the man $1 million to eliminate their liability and he jams it in the state budget, when you got a corporation like Gogebic Taconite writing him, $1.2 million check, or to Wisconsin Club for Growth, at SB1 and AB1, the mining bill, as it's become too known, is the first bill Scott Walker signs into law. And we only know through the error of the courts or perhaps leaks to The Guardian that Scott Walker was receiving massive corporate donations from the very same entities that he was writing laws or signing laws to benefit.
I'd like to call them whistleblowers. And again, the whole point being is if those folks wanted to give directly to a campaign, like most people do with limited resources,
then they're subject to public disclosure.
Absolutely.
But if you give it to a 501c3 that is coordinating with the candidate, you are anonymous. It can be corporate. It can be uncapped. I mean, there are a lot of advantages. Even as a fiduciary, I would encourage my client to look at the tax-deductible benefits of giving money to a 501c3.
It's not just the matter of an anonymous giving to a campaign. It's the hey, where did this bill come from? You know what I mean? All of a sudden they roll.
You don't need to know that.
Well, of course we need to know
we'll
that.
Jam it into a 999.
Absolutely not. That is
on
not
the last day of the budget
process. Not transparent government. That is not the government that I want, and it's not a government. I don't think that honest people, right, left, middle, libertarians, Democrats, Republicans, Greens, whatever, would want. We want government that is honest and transparent. That is what we want in our representative republic. We don't want the super wealthy, be they corporations or individuals, pulling the marionette strings of politicians who are making $50,000 a year and are just so super happy to get something in their coffers or maybe some money in a 501c3 that they can direct to what? Keep themselves in power. That's not how it's supposed to be.
That's exactly how it is, though.
But that's how it is.
And that's how it has been since Scott Walker has been the governor of the state of Wisconsin. You know, there are some good Republicans. Most of them are retiring. Folks, we are the devil's advocates. I am very curious what people think. There is some breaking news in the Dem gubernatorial field. It is further expanding. Crute for Wisconsin, a new campaign committee and a candidate have announced earlier today. I know my fine co-host had that fine interview right here on the show. But if anybody's nervous, I'm just going to tell you this. Crudy of the Devil's Advocates radio show, I'm not giving up this job, man.
I'm not doing it all by myself, man.
Well, I only got to do 3 hours a day of talking on the radio, being super clever and sexy. Well, that comes so naturally, that takes very little prep time at this point. But if people think that I'm going to take a leave of absence, that's not going to happen. Certainly not at this stage of the campaign, because you know what? We've got the microphones. We have invested time, energy, and resources in creating a platform of communications, of information, of education for the citizens of the state of Wisconsin. I hope they are taking advantage. I hope the word is getting out. And hell, I hope a few of them will even call us and tell them their, or your, more accurately, your, not Dom's, opinion of Crute for Wisconsin. Now, is this to be taken seriously? Is this some sort of disruption in the electoral process? Or could one accurately call Crute for Wisconsin the new front-running campaign in the Dem gubernatorial primary race? 844-967-2789. I love doing the Devil's Advocates radio show. You know, it's my day job. Once again, the political party line, toll free or text 844-967-2789. We'll be right back. Devil's Advocates Radio on the Wisconsin Resistance Radio Network.
No, I'm going to stay for a while. How about that? Freedom.
You going to do something or just stand there and bleed?
Do you own a rental property, or would you like to partner with a rental investment team? Call the pros you can trust at CCL Management. Rental expertise second to none, a general contractor on staff to direct repairs and improvements, and real estate brokerage services tailored to the small investor. If you're ready to invest in rental property or just need professionals to manage your real estate portfolio, call us, CCL Management, at 608-833-0009 or visit us on the web at cclmanagement.com.
So, Jesse, why should someone buying a home pay for an agent when they can go online or call the number on a for sale sign?
Great questions. First of all, never call the number on a sign to see a home. That's the seller's agent, and they don't represent your interests. If they show you a home outside of an open house, you forfeit your ability to have someone negotiate in your corner at no cost to you.
Well, with interest rates still at historic lows, how can buyers still get a great deal and protect their rights?
Step 1, find a buyer's agent that you trust. Your agent will best find the home that fits your needs, anticipate problems, and negotiate on your behalf from offer through closing day. And most home listing contracts stipulate that the seller's agent pays for the buyer's commission.
Solidarity Realty. They're real, they're solid, they're honest. Whether buying or selling in Madison or Dane County, call Solidarity Realty, 608-284-9311, or find them at solidarityrealty.com.
Hello, it's me, the designer jeans in the back of your closet. What happened to us? I used to summer in the Hamptons, and now I'm stuck behind a pair of sweats. Okay, maybe I never really fit you right, but I got a lot more Sunday fun days left in me. So take me to Goodwill, where I can really make a difference.
Your donations to Goodwill create jobs, training programs, and education assistance for people in your community. To find your nearest donation center, go to goodwill.org. Donate stuff. Create jobs. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Hi, this is Brad Saug, owner of Zero Res Madison Carpet Cleaning. Zero Res is the best new technology in carpet cleaning. We have a patented process using empowered water, a high-tech process in which we force the water to act like soap. It doesn't want to stay in that state. It's jacked up and it's angry and it wants to hit the dirt and then it neutralizes. When we're done, all that's left in your carpet is just light moisture. In the end, you get the cleanest, greenest, healthiest carpet cleaning available. Call us at 848-9000. Zero Res. Spell it backward or forward. It's the right way to clean.
I'm Andy Buck, and I'm proud to be union.
Tell me about the underground economy.
Well, the underground economy is essentially workers being exploited, and they're being exploited all over the state. They're working for no benefits, no retirement, and if you don't join your brothers and sisters, you don't respect your craft.
Andy, why should I hire union?
Crudy, you should hire union because you want the job done right the first time. We represent the highest skilled, safety-trained workers in the industries that we represent. Glazers, painters, and drywall finishers. Join us. Painters and Allied Trades, District Council 7.
The only election I've ever won was Milwaukee's Best Local Entrepreneur 2017. I'm not your typical politician, but I'd like to be the next governor of the state of Wisconsin. I've acted as a fiduciary for my clients for the last decade, putting their needs before my own. I will do the same for you. Red and blue, R's and D's, we all do business with each other on Main Street. We're all Badgers. It's time we started acting like it. This message paid for by Crute for Wisconsin. Find us at cruteforwisconsin.com.
Live via phone, he is former U.S. Attorney Jim Santel.
Firing Bob Mueller doesn't mean that the prosecution, the investigation goes away. Pardoning one individual does not mean that you undo everything that has been done before. So this notion that somehow by shutting down and by pardoning and by sort of stopping the process, you're also stopping the wheels of justice is simply, again, it's simply wrong.
The Devil's Advocates, weekday afternoons on 1510 a.m. Wisconsin's Resistance Radio.
Kicking ass and taking names since the Wisconsin Uprising. Dom and Crute are the Devil's Advocates.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show on Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network. The party line is open. You can call or text 844-967-2789. Let's get to some callers while we have some time. It's Phil from Madison. Hey, Phil, welcome to the Devil's Advocates. What do you got today?
Hey, Phil.
How's it going, guys? I am so excited that Mike Crute is running for governor, and I hope that he wins the nomination so that I can face off against him in November.
Is this Phil Anderson, libertarian, running for governor?
That is correct. And, Mike, you are officially my favorite Democrat in the race as of right now. Good job. Way to jump into the fray.
Would you be considerate of signing my petition for candidacy?
Well,
did you sign anybody else's petition, Phil?
I'll probably sign my own, but you know what? You're the exception I would make, my friend. I will sign yours and just hope to scrape up an extra signature on my end to cover that.
Phil, I would tell you this. As the owner of a radio station, and, you know, we got this little radio network going on, you are still very welcome here on the station. Libertarians, Republicans, Democrats, progressives, liberals, Birdie-crats, they're all welcome here at WRRD 1510 AM, and I expect you'll drop down and bring us some beer down on Brady. And if you feel uncomfortable, I'll allow Dominic to interview you. I don't want to put any of the other candidates for the highest elective office in the state of Wisconsin. I don't want them to feel unwelcome here or feel uncomfortable. They are certainly welcome, and they can appear on any of the fine shows, but I only do the booking on this one. I'm going to have to hand some of that off to Dom.
Oh, man. Phil, I got to ask you, one of the things that we talk about often on this station, and what Curdy and I have bantered around for years, is the campaign finance laws and how elections are done here. What's your take? You're running for governor on the Libertarian ticket. What do you think should be done with campaign finance laws in the state of Wisconsin?
Well, I tell you one thing that I'm really not happy with. I don't know what Mike's plan is for this, but the idea of getting in the debates, you got to raise $250,000 by the first reporting, which is in July, in order to qualify to be in the debate for governor in October, according to the rules of the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association Foundation. That's something that I think, and I don't know, do you guys belong to that organization? Can I assume that you guys belong?
As a station owner, I am a member of both the National Broadcasters Association and also the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association. I had a seat at the table when Adject Pye, the chairman of the FCC, came to town. I said, what's the deal with rolling back the net neutrality, Chairman Pye? So yeah, I don't play favorites around here, Phil. I pretty much stick it to everybody.
Yeah. And I've always felt comfortable on your show, and I really look forward to being on there again. Maybe we can take the gloves off a little bit now that you're running, but that would be fantastic. And I wish you nothing but the best of luck.
Well, Phil, very kind words from a libertarian gubernatorial candidate in his own right. We've had him on this show a few times. Phil Anderson for governor. You're going to have to Google him. I'm not helping him out that much. No one even asked me what my website was when I got interviewed on the Devil's Advocates.
I believe there is a website. What is the
CruteForWisconsin.com.
CRUTEFOR, Wisconsin, spelled out.com.
You better know how to spell Wisconsin if you're listening to this big show. 844-967-2789. Your comments, your kind words, your hate, throw all the shade you want. Some Republican sympathetic Walker lover posted on our Facebook page, amongst the Democrats, all capitalized RATS, there's probably more Democrat gubernatorial candidates than there are people listening to the show right now. And mathematically, that could be true.
844-967-2789. Let's get Mark on. Couple minutes left in this hour. What do you got for us today,
How you
Mark?
doing in the sack, Mark?
Doing okay, but your numbers keep going up. I see them adding one or two a day on the like and the following page. Like I said to the screener there, surprised but not surprised by the news today. That I understand your passion, especially with your son, that you're realizing that this job is actually for the people. I mean, the only advice I'd give is that review the Republican Party platform of 1956, and because there's some good stuff in that, and also review the Libertarian Party platform of 1980, because there's a lot of junk in that, and that's apparently what the Republicans have become, that they want to do away with government actually can be run right and run efficiently. That the roads are the big thing. I mean, that we expect to have decent roads in this state and in this country. And
Mark, you think I need to go look up what the Republicans want to do? I mean, are you asking me to seek ideas in bad governance?
No, in 1956, this was Eisenhower, and he actually talked about expanding Social Security, expanding the rights of labor, and also his speech, but his Cross of Iron speech from 1960 when he's talking about the military-industrial complex. And you're familiar with all that stuff, unlike a lot of our Republican friends, that the good stuff in there, that because he actually believed that government could do something. That was before the Republicans went wackadoodle. That the only good thing in the Libertarian Party platform from back in 1980 is the liberalization of the drug laws. And but I mean, as far as that, they didn't believe government should be doing anything at all. I mean, they'd turn everything over to the private sector and let them do as they will to us.
Mark, libertarian legalization, liberalization of the drug laws. You're thinking of Phil Anderson and Dominic Salvia. I am a new Dem, and I am supportive of the Crude for Wisconsin campaign. You know how I like the Facebook likes? I understand Crude for Wisconsin also has a shiny new Facebook page.
Ooh, excellent. I can't wait to check it out.
Who's going to be the first like?
Ooh, me.
844-967-2789. Who's going to be the next caller at the happy hour? It starts right now.
Most of all, I want to thank God. I want to thank God for his abundant grace. Win or lose, it has always been more than enough.
Not going to work here anymore anyway.
Wisconsin Republican Attorney General Brad Schimmel claims he will further investigate the investigators of the John Doe 2 investigation because it was all a partisan witch hunt. Wisconsin State Rep Chris Taylor said this.
There is absolutely no concern expressed by this Attorney General or these Republican legislators about the underlying criminal conduct that this corruption investigation revealed. Scott Walker was breaking laws.
And Brad Schimmel fails to acknowledge the 6 criminal convictions, 4 felonies in the Scott Walker John Doe 1. Was that also a partisan witch hunt?
One newspaper has done a good job. It's a national paper, the Wall Street Journal.
And AG Schimmel filed an embarrassing hack partisan bull report where he's still looking for the leaker. Get a clue! Wasn't it Eric O'Keefe from Wisconsin Club for Growth?
Well, I was born to do this.
This message was paid for by the People for People Corporation. Donate online at p4ppc.org. P4ppc.org.
Hello, friends. Tom Alonzi from Teamsters Local 200. Local 200 has union members from up north in Fond du Lac all the way down to the Illinois state line, from the shores of Lake Michigan out to Waukesha. Here's a fact. Teamster union members negotiate living wages and affordable health care benefits where they work with their union representative. If you're a worker interested in receiving better wages and benefits and respect at your workplace, give Teamsters Local 200 a call at 414-771-6363 and ask to speak to a Teamsters Local 200 organizer today.
Is my kid in the right car seat? I guess she is.
There are probably rules on when to move up to a booster seat, aren't there?
Rear-facing, forward-facing. I think I have it right.
Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Are your children in the right car seat for their age and size? Don't think you know. Know you know. Go to safercar.gov/the-right-seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
You are listening to 1510 AM WRRD Waukesha, Milwaukee, and 1580 AM WTTN Columbus, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network.
Deadly plane incident, President Trump and North Korea. I'm Ann Cates. One person has died after an engine blew apart on a Southwest Airlines jet headed for Dallas.
The plane was in the air for a short while when suddenly the left engine suffered a catastrophic failure.
Southwest Flight 1380. That's a Boeing 737-700.
Robert Stumwalt of the National Transportation Safety Board said the pilot immediately diverted to Philadelphia for an emergency landing. Passengers like Christopher Johnson said the cabin lost pressurization and the oxygen masks came down.
We were thankful. The pilots did a great job.
Part of the engine broke a window and a passenger was partially sucked through the opening. Other passengers pulled her back into her seat. Stumwalt said she was rushed to a nearby hospital.
We do have information there was one fatality.
I'm Steve Cass. Kastenbaum.
The president has been focusing on the Koreas.
Sitting with Japan's Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, President Trump's comments focused on a problem for both nations: what to do about North Korea. Not only are North and South talking, but they're talking about ending the war officially between them, fought also by the Chinese and United Nations troops, mostly from the U.S.
North Korea is coming along. South Korea is meeting and has plans to meet with North Korea to see if they can end the war, and they have my blessing on that.
The president led on there are 5 locations being considered for his potential face-to-face meeting with Kim Jong-un in late May or early June. Bob Costantini, Washington.
After 2 black men were arrested at a Starbucks in Philadelphia, the chain's U.S. workers will be getting sensitivity training. Correspondent Allison Cossack.
That's more than 8,000 company-owned stores in the U.S. This happening on May 29th to educate its employees about racial bias. Starbucks is saying this training is going to be given to 175,000 of its workers.
On Wall Street, the Dow gained 214 points, the Nasdaq up 125. I'm Ann Cates.
Businesses today thrive and survive with technology. At Five Nines, we provide businesses with the IT tools they need to stay relevant. We offer enterprise-level solutions at competitive prices. I'm Todd Stryker, President and CEO of Five Nines. Let us manage your IT so you can focus on more important things, like running your business. Check us out at fivenines.com. That's the number 5, NINES.com.
The Devil's Advocates.
Tom Perez, chair of the Democratic National Committee. Scott Walker went on something of a Twitter storm, very Trumpian. What do you think this foretells for Scott Walker's future as the governor of the state of Wisconsin?
Wisconsinites have woken up. He talked about we need an optimistic message. How can you make people feel optimistic when you take away their health care? How can you make people optimistic when you take away the right to bargain? How can you make people feel optimistic when you're gerrymandering the heck out of districts?
Radio for the 99%.
Starting in February at Daytona, Ford will be switching things up for next year's NASCAR season.
The automaker said the Mustang will replace the Fusion in NASCAR's Top Series. This will be the 4th Cup model for Ford in the modern era, which goes back to 1972. Previous models include the Thunderbird and the Taurus. Mustang has competed in the 2nd-tier Xfinity Series since 2011 and won the championship every year there except one. Now it moves up to the Monster Energy Cup Series after it has finished its initial testing, and it's formally approved by NASCAR, expected later this summer. Fans are still waiting for a chance to see the finished product. That should also happen later this year. I'm John Stolness.
After spending a year in California, the MTV Video Music Awards are coming back to the East Coast this year. The network announced today that the 2018 VMAs will be held August 20th at Radio City Music Hall in New York City. I'm Ann Cates.
Only in the forest can you see this. And this. And this. But nothing beats the moment you see that.
Cool!
That's your child's eyes opening up to a world of possibilities.
I didn't know it could do that!
Because one trip to the forest can spark a world of difference.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org. Learn about forests near you and discover cool things to do when you go, like hiking, canoeing, fishing, or camping. Or create your own adventure with family and friends, and you might just see this. Your moment's out there. Find it at discovertheforest.org. That's discovertheforest.org.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
For Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network, I'm Stu Daniels with your headlines. The United States Senate is voting this week on relaxing regulations for ships on the Great Lakes. The change could have devastating and permanent consequences for Earth's largest freshwater system. An analysis by USA Today found that Wisconsin has had at least 45 threats of school shootings since the Parkland shooting in Florida 9 weeks ago. And the future of the Boston store does not look good. The parent company of Boston store, Bon-Ton, received only 2 bids during their bankruptcy auction yesterday, and those were from liquidation companies. Outside, partly sunny today and then partly cloudy tonight. Lows in the upper 20s. For tomorrow, rain likely in the afternoon, highs in the mid-30s. Snow likely in the evening, possibly an inch or two of accumulation. And then for Thursday, mostly sunny with a high around 40 degrees. I'm Stu Daniels on Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network.
The following program is a presentation of DC Communications, LLC. Warning, you are about to listen to the greatest radio show ever. And due to contractual obligations and to shield our airwaves' corporate licensees from any semblance of liability, responsibility, and gullibility, we must tell you the views represented on this show are not necessarily those of this station or its management. This radio show contains differing points of view on current political topics, and due to the nature of its contents, it should be heard by everyone. Thank you for listening. Now live from the heart of liberal Wisconsin, where the political party is just beginning, welcome to the Devil's Advocate Show. Best friends proving it's never personal, only politics.
Please allow me to introduce myself.
Now here are your hosts, Dom and Crute.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show. Dominic, we're sliding into the 5 o'clock happy hour. And we'd like to hear from our audience a new entry into the dim gubernatorial race, Crute for Wisconsin. Now on Twitter.
And Facebook.
That's what I understand. Let's get to the phones. Want to hear from you? You can text us. You can call us on the political party line toll free at 844-967-2789. Let's get to them, Dom. What are the people thinking this afternoon? It starts with Jake from Milwaukee. Welcome, Jake.
Hi. Well, it's interesting to hear you that you're running now. I was just thinking that maybe like a free beer Friday for the state would be good to start as governor.
I like the way you think, sir.
I really enjoy beer.
I'm sorry. What's your favorite beer, Jake?
Oh my God!
Colt,
it's probably like within 100.
Jake, here's the answer. My favorite
Hello?
beer is free, and my second favorite beer is cold.
That's helpful, but let's just not get into that. That's probably more divisive than my question. All right, here's my question, Coot. It's a hard one, and it's a difficult one, especially for the state right now.
You're not going to ask me to do math on the radio, are you, Jake?
We don't do that.
No math. No math. This is all qualitative. Basically, we know Walker has run on division. You've mentioned division the whole time, which is good because it's terrible. I've gone to my worst natures these past years, thinking about other people regarding their politics and stuff. But one of the problems is, and one of the things that Walker has used is race. Now, he has with the Republicans, they have the wild counties, the white flight, and they use race, and he has used race to get his power and keep his power. How are you going to appeal to the white middle-aged to older men in our state, white specifically, who do not like minorities? Because, to be honest, that is a huge Walker block.
Well, I can tell you this, Jake.
I
can tell you this. I am not about identity politics. To my opinion, we're all out here on Main Street. We're all Badgers. We're all Wisconsinites first. I would say this. African-American voters are a vital block for the Democratic base. And if Democrats take them for granted, they're going to have the same outcome they did in 2016 when Hillary Clinton lost the state of Wisconsin by 22,000 votes. So my first, as a middle-class white guy myself, my first goal actually is to provide a platform to listen to communities of color. I'm going on the Earl Ingram show tomorrow morning. I was invited on his fine morning show. Earl, of course, plays right here on WRD, 1510 a.m., 7 to 9 a.m. I'm going on his show. I would have launched on his show. Was that logistically possible earlier today? On Saturday, and Earl's going to make this announcement, Jake, on Saturday, community leaders, especially African American community leaders right here in Milwaukee are coming together for a broadcast listening session, not a talking session, but a listening session at Coffee Makes You Black in Milwaukee. We'll broadcast it here on Wisconsin's Resistance Radio between 12 and 3 p.m. on Saturday. It will be a conversation hosted by Earl Ingram. But I can tell you, I would rather start by reaching out to communities that feel like they've been ignored. If it comes time, and honestly, Jake, of course, I need to win white male voters, but so does every other Democrat in the field. And we need to win a lot more than white males. We need to win anyone that is for good governance, anyone that wants their state back, anyone that wants to stop dodging the potholes, stop criminalizing African Americans and every other reasonable human being that might choose to smoke marijuana. We're done with these sort of divisive policies, Jake. I'm not here to divide black versus white. Scott Walker will certainly villainize Milwaukee and Madison and anybody else. Whatever it takes, we know that that's his motto. But I can tell you, Jake, all I can do is what I can do, and it starts by listening, and I'm going to listen. And if people choose to embrace the candidacy of Crute for Wisconsin, then I'll be very excited because I hope Crute for Wisconsin is the campaign of the next governor of the state of Wisconsin. But, quite frankly, dude, I get along with everyone. I got no big problems with Republicans like Joel Clayfish. Just Scott Walker. It's really about him.
Got it.
So I know I didn't exactly answer your question, but you know how politicians are.
Hey, let me ask you, Jake. Let's not talk to the politicians. A couple of guys on the radio. How do you think that bridge is? How do you think we cross that bridge? Certainly Milwaukee is shamefully one of the most highly segregated cities in America. The outcomes for young African Americans here are terrible. What do you think we need to do as citizens to help bridge that gap?
Just at a citizen level, I think that that's a hard one. But I would say that a lot of things derive from media. And in the past age, media in this area, and you guys hit upon all the time, has been really terrible. Not only that, but on a personal level, people from both the city and the Wa counties need to interact with each other. Now, I don't know how to make that happen, but we're all human beings, and I grew up in the exurbs in Oconomowoc, and I live in Milwaukee around 60th and Burleigh. And I love all my neighbors and everyone that I know. Doesn't matter what color, who they are, we're all human beings. So I think people have to realize we're all human beings and we want the same things, except if you have billions of dollars, that's different.
Jake, don't you think the electorate is very broad? The electorate should be the 99% of us that still work for a living, that still pay our taxes. I'm sorry, you go.
And it is. And it is. I mean, I'm an urban dweller and there's rural dwellers, and we both have the same problems. We have the same issues. Money, trying to pay bills, trying to get from left to right, trying not to hit a pothole. Mm-hmm. We all have the same issues. I mean, unless you're in a certain monetary category, I mean, really, really high, like millions and millions of dollars, we're in the same boat. I mean, we really are. So, people have to start not being so specific. I can't even say it, but it's more about how much money you have than what color you are. That's exactly what it is.
Well, there's a lot of commonality, Jake, in not being able to pay the bills. Poor is poor. Being villainized by the governor of the state of Wisconsin because you might need the social safety net, that doesn't matter if you're black or white or brown or purple. I mean, the governor of the state of Wisconsin is against the working people. The example I would point to, Act 10, right to work. The governor of the state of Wisconsin is against poor people, the working poor. Doesn't seem to, bother with the corporations, let's call it Walmart, that every supercenter in the state of Wisconsin receives over $1 million of incentive from the taxpayers to subsidize their employees that they do not pay sufficiently to qualify to pay for their own bills. You know, they're still eligible for the social safety net because their corporate masters don't pay them enough. Well, Scott Walker's all in for the big box stores, you know, the dark stores. They don't even pay property taxes like the rest of us. The manufacturing interest in the state of Wisconsin, those corporate billionaires that are not creating the new jobs. If you want to see the new jobs, look to entrepreneurs. If you want to see crony capitalism, look to Scott Walker and the WMC and wonder what our failure to collect $350 million per year in taxation, to what end, to what benefit for the taxpayers of the state of Wisconsin? So the sector, the manufacturing sector, can lay off 4,000 employees and cut $400 million from their wage? Well, that's exactly what happens when you incentivize a rich guy to cash out and tell him, I'm not going to charge you any sort of taxation. Oh, 0.4%. I mean, that's pennies on the millions for those that are greatly benefiting, but it's not us. We're not the ones benefiting from the policies of Scott Walker unless you write this man a 10, 20 million dollar campaign check, or write it to a third party he'll coordinate with.
Hell, a $10,000 check on the day of the election will get you a WEDC loan.
Well, that was the old days, back when Minahan and Mike Kipsch, I mentioned him, didn't I? Mike Kipsch?
Yeah, vaguely.
Former Speaker of the House who stuck it to kids with autism and eventually became Scott Walker's #1 cabinet secretary, personally shepherded through for a Scott Walker maxed out donor a $500,000 that was never paid back, went to pay off Maserati payments and bad debt from the state of Oklahoma. And Scott Walker's minions, Mike Kipsch, went out and sought millions more because Scott Walker asked. Folks, we're the devil's advocates. I am sick and tired of being sick and tired. Come back with us. Join us on the phones, 844-967-2789.
Probably wouldn't be here if it weren't for the American worker.
You know, they can go suck lemons.
Hi, I'm Becky with Bounce Milwaukee, a progressive, local, family-owned entertainment center. We just want to remind you what it's like to be a kid again. Come on in for all ages fun. Bounce in our giant inflatables, race up the rock wall, dominate your friends in laser tag, or just relax in our bar or our massage chairs. Open 6 days a week with extended adult-only weekend hours. Find us at bouncemilwaukee.com.
The only election I've ever won was Milwaukee's Best Local Entrepreneur 2017. I'm not your typical politician, but I'd like to be the next governor of the state of Wisconsin. I've acted as a fiduciary for my clients for the last decade, putting their needs before my own. I will do the same for you. Red and blue, R's and D's, we all do business with each other on Main Street. We're all Badgers. It's time we started acting like it. This message paid for by Crude for Wisconsin. Find us at crudeforwisconsin.com.
My name is Lola Silvestri, and I'm going to be 95 this year. I was very independent. I fell, and I had to have Meals on Wheels. America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
Are you tired of being taken for granted? Are you tired of politicians who give nothing but lip service to your needs? Join me as we broadcast live from Coffee Makes You Black, 2803 North Teutonia Avenue, from noon to 3 p.m. this Saturday, April 21st. We will be joined by Resistance Radio's own Michael Crute, a candidate for the governor of the state of Wisconsin. He will be there to listen to your concerns and take them all the way to the State House.
I was on Zero Res Madison's Facebook page the other day, and they have almost 2,000 testimonials from local customers. Apparently, I'm not the only one stoked on how cool this company is. A green technology that actually works better and doesn't cost more. It's a no-brainer. I'm in. We are starting our own Devil's Advocates revolution to free your carpets from harsh chemicals and soaps. Call Zero Res today and ask for the Dom and Crute special 608-848-9000 or schedule online at ZeroResMadison.com. Zero Res, spell it forward or backward. It's the right way to clean.
Do you own a rental property, or would you like to partner with a rental investment team? Call the pros you can trust at CCL Management. Rental expertise second to none, a general contractor on staff to direct repairs and improvements, and real estate brokerage services tailored to the small investor. If you're ready to invest in rental property or just need professionals to manage your real estate portfolio, call us, CCL Management, at 608-833-0009 or visit us on the web at cclmanagement.com.
So, Jesse, why should someone buying a home pay for an agent when they can go online or call the number on a for sale sign?
Great questions. First of all, never call the number on a sign to see a home. That's the seller's agent, and they don't represent your interests. If they show you a home outside of an open house, you forfeit your ability to have someone negotiate in your corner at no cost to you.
Well, with interest rates still at historic lows, how can buyers still get a great deal and protect their rights?
Step 1, find a buyer's agent that you trust. Your agent will best find the home that fits your needs, anticipate problems, and negotiate on your behalf from offer through closing day. And most home listing contracts stipulate that the seller's agent pays for the buyer's commission.
Solidarity Realty. They're real, they're solid, they're honest. Whether buying or selling in Madison or Dane County, call Solidarity Realty, 608-284-9311, or find them at solidarityrealty.com.
The Devil's Advocates, because it's always 420 somewhere.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show.
Gary must think we're in the mountain time zone.
We missed the last one because we were talking about very important things, so I'm having my own happy hour right now.
All right. Thank you. Well done, Brian. 844-967-2789 if you want to join us on the phones.
And who would not want to call right now? It's the political party line. Doesn't cost you nothing. Once again, 844-96-PARTY.
Betsy, you are up. Thanks for calling. What do you got for us today?
Oh, my God. Cootie, you are in the ring. You are going to tear Walker up. I am so excited. Cootie, there's nobody better to run for governor than you. I am so serious. You know everything. You've been watchdogging these guys, and you know how they fight, but you fight fair, Cootie. You are awesome. I'm so excited. I will knock doors for you. The only thing I worry about is that your web pages, like they get in there like they did with the sneaky things.
You mean like MaryBurke.com?
Yeah, all that stuff.
You know what was almost forgotten by the Crute for Wisconsin campaign? A Twitter.
Yeah.
But in terms of, let's call it, internet domain names, I feel quite confident any variants of Crute, Crute for Wisconsin, Crute for Governor, Mike Crute, Michael Crute, number 4, FOUR, I feel quite confident someone's already set aside and acquired all of those domain names.
Until someone puts out Lion Comey.
Lion Crudy.
I cannot believe this. Nobody, I mean, for all of you who are listening, Dom and Crute are like the heroes of Wisconsin. I am so serious. When Act 10 came in and you guys came on, remember, 6 years ago? I started listening, and oh my God, you guys, you woke me up totally. You awake Wisconsin up more, and I believe it. You have woken Wisconsin up because, like my family, like in Broadhead and everybody else, you know, if it weren't for you guys telling us what those guys are doing to Wisconsin, we would never know. And Batman and all of you, but you gave Batman a platform. You have no idea how exciting this is. And I am just thrilled. I'm thrilled. And You know, I don't have any money, but I can give you my time, Crudy.
Betsy, every campaign is going to need an army of volunteers because right now, and we thank you so much for calling in all the kind words, Betsy. You know, I've loved you for a long, long time. You are one of my favorites. But I got to tell you, it's going to take an army of volunteers. 2,000 signatures must be acquired to get any of the gubernatorial candidates on the ballot. And 2,000 is probably not nearly enough because there will be ballot challenges and there will be overlaps, people that inadvertently sign multiple ballots. Do not do that. Save yourself for the best. I won't say who that might be. But, I would imagine
2,000 minimum, 4,000 maximum.
Yes. But I would think any of the campaigns, if you're politically active, it's signature gathering time for every elective office. It's not just at the top. It's AG. It's state legislative office. Hell, we've got special elections coming up on my birthday this year. Dom, let's not forget we have campaigns that are going to happen a lot quicker than the partisan primary that happens August 14th and the eventual, November election when Crude for Wisconsin beats Scott Walker's ass.
844-967-2789. Got a couple more minutes in this segment. Let's take Ignacio. What do you got for us today?
Hey, I quit paying attention for like maybe one day, and all hell breaks loose. Congratulations, Crudy. Hey, man, you are the man. I will tell you, 25 years ago, I was a community activist. I ran for city council. If you run for government of any kind, it is the biggest education in the world that you will receive, bar none. I mean, you will get the best education of how humanity works, how your fellow citizens live, how your government works. It is one of the best things in the world. Congratulations. And, that goes to show me I got to pay attention every single day to your radio program, or else who knows what will happen.
If you don't listen to the Devil's Advocates 3 hours every day, Nacho, you're missing a lot.
You got that right. I just learned that today. I turned it on and I'm listening and I'm going, what the hell? What's going on? He's doing what? Oh, my God. You really just rocked my world today. I was just totally blown away. Totally blown away, dude. I mean, honestly, totally blown away. Congratulations, man. You make me glad. You made me very proud. I'm glad for the fact that you all went back to regional, to dealing with the local issues of Wisconsin. You guys have made me proud to see all the great things that you have done, that you've stimulated the minds of people. From not even living there and hearing you guys. I found you when you guys were on Nationwide, and the good thing is that it got me interested because I like the fact that you are talking to people on the ground, as a person to person, not a highfalutin kind of guy talking to somebody down below. You talk eye to eye, and that's what I really appreciate. And to hear that you're running for governor, again, congrats, bro. You just made me proud, man.
Ignacio, thank you so much for the kind words. Sorry to cut you short. Little radio commercial break getting in the way. I like to think of it as more belly-to-belly politics. Come back with us. More Devil's Advocates, more of your phone calls. The reaction, now's the time. 844-967-2789.
Hey, Batman here. Matt Rothschild from the Wisconsin Democracy Campaign. Hoping you'll support us as we track all that dark money that's splattering your screens with mud. You can count on us to tell you who really runs Wisconsin, and it's not Walker, Fitzgerald, and Voss. They're just the water boys for the Koch brothers, WMC, the NRA, and Diane Hendricks. You can find all this out at our website at wisdc.org, and while you're there, please send us a donation so we can keep after these bad guys.
We got Mark Pocan live via phone. Mark, does Paul Ryan hate poor people?
Oh, he hates poor people and middle-class people. I mean, I think when he was probably 5 years old playing with Play-Doh, trying to, adjust the taxes on Play-Doh. So, to be fair, I think he's doing what he always said he was going to do. It's just no one actually believed he was either that cruel, evil, or dumb to do it.
The Devil's Advocates, weekday afternoons on 1510 AM, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio.
You are listening to 1510 AM WRRD Waukesha, Milwaukee, and 1580 AM WTTN Columbus, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network.
I'm afraid right now for the future of my children's generation and those to come.
In this age of mass school shootings, Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker offers the same bold agenda of the National Rifle Association.
Make sure you remember in your thoughts and more importantly in your prayers.
While Walker offers platitudes, he blocks meaningful gun safety legislation.
It's really an honor to work with the NRA, not only in my state, but across the country. And I'm proud of my A+ ranking as a governor.
Walker weakened the gun laws in Wisconsin, and then he got $3.5 million worth of NRA support.
There have been men and women of courage who've been willing to stand up and think more about the future of their children and their grandchildren than they thought about their own futures.
Scott Walker, you are not one of them. This message was paid for by the People for People Corporation. Donate online at p4ppc.org, p4ppc.org.
Do you love public education? Do you want to support your schools? Then you should support the people who make them work. You should support teachers and their unions. Teachers' working conditions are students' learning conditions, and when the school bell rings, it is crucial that teachers do not check their rights at the door. The ability to organize and advocate around issues that improve the quality of a teacher's workplace will increase opportunities for students and make schools safer for everyone. Stand with teachers, stand with WEAC Region 7.
We are live outside the home of Joe and Rosie Goddard, where a pretty big tickle fight broke out just minutes ago. Sources say their father instigated the laughter. Let's go inside for a comment. Apparently, they have no comment. Dads, let this be a reminder that it only takes a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
For Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network, I'm Stu Daniels with your headlines. This Saturday is the 23rd annual Milwaukee Riverkeeper Cleanup to celebrate Earth Day. Volunteers are needed for over 60 locations along the Milwaukee River. Participants will receive gloves, trash bags, and a free t-shirt. After the cleanup, there will be a free party in Estabrook Park from noon until 2 o'clock. To register to volunteer, go to MilwaukeeRiverkeeper.org. The Bucks will try to even up their series with the Celtics tonight. They are in Boston for Game 2 of that series. And the Brewers lost to the Reds last night 10-4, ending Cincinnati's 8-game losing streak. Game 2 of that 3-game series is tonight at Miller Park. Outside, partly sunny today and then partly cloudy tonight. Lows in the upper 20s. For tomorrow, rain likely in the afternoon, highs in the mid-30s. Snow likely in the evening, possibly an inch or two of accumulation. I'm Stu Daniels on Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network.
I don't know if you know the Devil's Advocates, but they are kind of a big deal.
What it is ain't exactly clear. There's a man with a gun over there, telling me I got to beware. I think it's time we stop.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show. I was just enjoying the music, Dom. This is how it all started.
This song still gives me chills. But yes, this was the theme song from the Saturday product. 1 hour a day on Saturdays. This is what we would walk out to.
You know, we first started this little fiasco that is our, non-financially viable radio careers. November of 2011, we started over an iPad drinking rum and colas, at least in my case.
Trying not to swear.
And trying to see if we could do a little radio action. I had done it before. You a rookie, Dom? Today I kind of know what it feels like to be a rookie. And I'd love to hear from some of our audience. We've worked hard. We've done our best. 844-967-2789. Your call's welcome here. Good or bad, let me have it. It ain't going to get any better on the stump.
Right.
844-967-2789, the political party line. Let's get to it, Dom.
Jacob from Madison, you are next. Thanks for calling. What do you got today?
Hey, Jacob.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, sir.
Man, it was a crazy show. I did not expect the opening of that to be so newsworthy. I listen to your show every day, and I've heard you talk a lot to the different gubernatorial candidates. And today was the first time I've actually been excited to hear from one. So I say I'm all for it. I'm all in for you, and I want to donate, volunteer. Just let me know how.
Well, Jacob, as the fine Devil's Advocates co-host, I'll let the campaign Crude for Wisconsin speak for itself, but you could probably find them online at crudeforwisconsin.com. I'm just suggesting if you looked, it might be there.
Sounds good. I remember very well. I was down at Hawks in the November election of 2016.
Wasn't that the worst night of your life, man?
Weird. It was really bad.
Yeah, it was strange.
It just kind of dissipated, and I don't remember the rest of the night because after they called it for him, I just kind of dove in and tried to drown my sorrows. But ever since then, things have felt just off, and I think that this is a good move to set things back right.
Jake, let me ask you, what do you see as the most important issues affecting your existence here in Wisconsin?
Well, I have a premature son who was born 13 weeks early, and so the health care that has been provided to us and him through that was a big deal. So, when people don't have access to that, bad things can happen, and it affects everybody. So there's whether you're black or white or brown or purple, healthcare, and that's a big thing for me.
All right, man. We appreciate you calling in, Jake. Stay in touch. Madison, 844-967-2789.
Without our health, really, we have nothing, right? I mean, when it's your kid.
No doubt.
Your daughter was premature, man. Yep. I saw your daughter when she was smaller than this Mountain Dew bottle, seemingly.
4 pounds, 8 ounces.
She was tiny.
Yeah, she was
smaller than a tiny little girl.
Smaller than a TV remote.
How many days and weeks did she stay in the hospital?
I think like 4 weeks. I mean, she was in there for several weeks.
Can you imagine?
And she was the healthy one. I mean, she was in there, just got to fatten her up a little bit. I mean, and she was, thankfully, and there were some, there was other little kids in there that had real issues, not just coming out early, had some issues, and they were just trying to fatten Izzy up. And it's expensive. I mean, it was.
Can you imagine what the bill was if you'd had to sustain the bill? You'd still be mailing in your $25 a week.
Absolutely, yeah.
Forever.
Absolutely.
Kind of like we'll be paying for Foxconn forever.
Well, and that's again the things that not divide us but bring us together, and certainly family is part of it, and not just their health but our health. I mean, not talking about the seasonal flu or those things, but when people are struck with serious illness, it's amazing how all the other things in life that used to bother them so very much just go away. I mean, they are absolutely irrelevant. And it'd be nice if we can get to a point where we recognize that it's not just us, hopefully not having to deal with those things, but other people do. And we shouldn't have to go through them ourselves to empathize with those folks that are dealing with that. And that's where the whole healthcare issue comes in. And ultimately, what it comes down to in our current healthcare system is that, we siphon, the capitalistic system that we have siphons all the money they can out of people, and when there's nothing left, then they're thrown on to public assistance. So it's privatizing the profits and socializing the losses. And why would we continue to live in that environment?
I've had 3 brushes with the healthcare system through family members of mine. My mom, twice a cancer victim, if you will. First time she had a hysterectomy, ovarian cancer. I was like 3 years old, man. My brother and I became the housekeepers. We lined up chairs at the counters. And my brother and I, at 3 and 5, my mom would tell us what to do. Go put the water in the pot. We go put the water in the pot. Yep. Okay, yep. What now, Mom? Turn on the stove, but medium high, not high. That's medium high. You can read, right? Well, I couldn't even read. I was 3 years old. And then it was when I was about 12 years old, the summer I turned 12, that my mom got cancer the second time, brain cancer. And this was much more debilitating. I mean, she was laid up on the couch, hospitatory or ambulatory when she had cancer the first time. But the second time, I mean, I watched this strong, vivacious, energetic, incredibly intelligent
superhero
woman.
mother. I mean,
to me, she
yeah,
was.
yeah.
She was certainly my hero growing up. And I watched her basically wilt away to nothing. On Christmas morning, I woke up 1982, and as I mentioned before, no presents under the trees. The presents had been open. We didn't even know if my mom would live to Christmas. And I was forced at 12 years old, my brother and I, he's a year older than I, we were forced to make adult decisions, end-of-life care decisions, hospice care decisions at 12 years old. You are not prepared emotionally to make those sort of decisions on behalf of a relative. And I can tell you, people say, what the hell's wrong with you, Crudy? I mean, mostly my wife.
And sometimes me.
But people say, what the hell's wrong with you? Why are you so headstrong? Why do you think you're always right? Because at age 12, I had to be right for my mom. No one was there to tell me, oh, you're too young. Who, if not for me making those healthcare decisions for my mom, who's going to make them? There was nobody else. And in regards to my own son, he has been the beneficiary of wonderful care. His autism, I'm not saying it's reversible, but he is doing great. But it cost a lot of money. My wife and I, you know, man, we suffered financially, $30,000 to $60,000 per year out of pocket because insurance companies didn't have to insure my son. Pre-existing condition, they said before ACA Obamacare. If it was Scott Walker's choice, he'd send us back to the brink of financial destruction because I wouldn't be able to insure my kid. And now, as he is cognitively developed, he's doing great. But he is basically phased out of any Medicaid eligibility. So he's got a pre-existing condition and no eligibility for federal help. I mean, literally, if it were not for the grace of God, if I were not able to provide health care insurance for my kid through a small group, which is my company, Dom, I'd be in the same boat that many Wisconsinites find themselves in. And one last thought, as an entrepreneur, you know what the thing that keeps people trapped in their jobs? You know why we can't create new businesses that are the lifeblood of our state?
They don't want to lose the health care benefits.
Because you can't afford to throw up your own shingle. When I threw up my own shingle the first time, man, it was disastrous for my family. My wife wanted to divorce me. Why? Because I exposed my family. I lost the health care insurance that we had, and I was unable to provide a new coverage as an individual with a kid with a pre-existing condition. Well, I love me some Elizabeth Warren, Senator Elizabeth Warren. She didn't come through the political side. She came through the personal bankruptcy side. You know, and like 50% of the people that find themselves in personal bankruptcy in this nation, they had health care. Yet they find themselves in the bankruptcy courts, driven there by health, by personal illness or disease. And that's got to change. And Republicans, if you don't sense that we all need to be healthy, to thrive, to drive our state forward, then get the hell out of the way and let someone else govern.
844-967-2789. Got some callers. Let's get at least one in this segment. It's Curtis. Hey, I think I know this guy. Curtis, welcome to the Devil's Advocates. What do you got for us today?
Hey, Curtis.
Well, I've got a couple. Hey, Trudy, how you doing? I hope you guys liked your Mad Cow. I hope you guys liked it.
Oh,
hey,
my God. Thank you, dude.
It's a son of a gun to drive from West Dallas just way down to the east side. Woo! Especially this traffic. Anyway, two questions for you, Crudy.
Yes,
sir.
sir.
And now Matt Flynn was going to go for hemp. What's your take on that?
Sure. Yes, it's an agricultural product. It's not marijuana. And not only would I make sure that agricultural hemp was legal and that farmers in the state of Wisconsin, I mean, we're an agrarian state, or at least we used to be. We should be growing what is a tremendous fiber, has multiple use. And of course, legalize recreational and medical marijuana. I mean, are we kidding ourselves? This is 2018. Colorado's been doing this and cashing the checks for years and years to the betterment of their society. Less opioid ODs, less teenagers using marijuana, according to all the surveys I've seen from Pew. Big surveys, like 20,000 kids polled. So, yeah, man, I think some changes in order.
Good to hear. Good to hear.
And you can definitely check the box, yes, hemp.
Yes, especially since that Foxconn is, oh my God, that's going to be so expensive for us to pay. So it'll be nice to get something like legalized marijuana or something like we can pay for that expense of the $4.6 billion now.
Curtis, I got to thank you so much for the call, the cold ones for the staff. I got to tell you, let's not forget the Menominee Casino. Remember, the Menominee wanted to give the state of Wisconsin $250 million to build the Bucks Arena. Now, I'm as happy as anybody else. I got a business in Milwaukee. I like to see the investment in Milwaukee, but I would have liked it a hell of a lot better if that investment came with 10,000 new jobs, and if that investment came from private sources like the Menominee tribe. And after Scott Walker, in his infinite wisdom, pandering to Christian conservatives because he wanted to run for president and he wanted to suck up to the Iowa Christian conservatives, Scott Walker kissed off $250 million, $25 to $35 million annually. And now we're supposed to subsidize Foxconn to the tune of $4.5 billion. That math doesn't make any freaking sense. And let's not forget Gary Besaw, at that time, the tribal leader of the Menominee tribe. What they tried to do, I think at our recommendation, they tried to go up and experiment at growing marijuana on tribal land as they're permitted to do under federal authority. And the Attorney General of the state of Wisconsin, Brad Schimmel, took the DOJ up there and they took the Menominee tribe's
plants,
marijuana, destroyed it. So you can't even give us $250 million. We're going to bust you if you try to do something that is permissible under tribal law. Yeah, it's time to change.
Oh, hell yes.
And whether it's the Attorney General of the United States or the Attorney General of the state of Wisconsin, they're both hacks. And yes, good people smoke marijuana, at least if they're lucky and they know the right guys. Just gotta have friends.
844-967-2789. Coming back, last segment of the day. Please join us. We are the Devil's Advocates. This is Wisconsin's Resistance Radio. Give us a call.
Paranoia strikes deep into your life, it will creep. It starts when you're always afraid. Step out of line, the man come and take you away. We better stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going. We better stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going. We better stop.
Nobody knew that healthcare could be so complicated.
If you haven't got your health, you haven't got anything.
People have worked on healthcare for many years. It's a very complicated situation.
My name is Adam Holmes, and I'm proud to be union.
Adam, you're Director of Training for Painters District Council 7. What do you do?
I'm making sure that we're investing in our members. We're providing the safest and best trained painters, glazers, drywall finishers, and trade show workers in the industry, and we also do that at no cost to the taxpayers.
Why hire unions?
Because it costs less to be safe. We keep the contractor on the right side of OSHA and help keep the workmen's comp rates affordable. Join us, Painters and Allied Trades, District Council 7.
Have a drink at Regano's Roman Coin. This neighborhood corner tavern is as classic as the street it occupies. Family owned and operated since 1966, Regano's Roman Coin is located in a former Pabst Tide House on historic Brady Street, serving an array of craft beers with a focus on Wisconsin breweries. Also, weekly drink specials, trivia on Wednesdays, seasonal sporting events, parties hosted for all occasions, and pet friendly. Open 11 a.m. Tuesday through Friday, 10 a.m. Saturday and Sunday, closed on Monday. Regano's Roman Coin, Milwaukee's pet friendly, cash only order and classic corner tavern.
Music is a bridge between the material and the spiritual. My name is Harvey Lauer, and I'm 82. As a blind person, you have to be aware that nobody can tell you what you can or can't do. You really have to try things. My folks got me a little radio in 1940, and that was the best Christmas present I ever got. When I was 11 years old is when I started to play music, play the piano, and then the accordion, and then the cello. My wife, who was also blind, was a good cook. When she died, that's when I started Meals on Wheels. America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
It's important to buckle up your kids.
I know.
Sometimes car seats can be complicated.
I know.
And if your child's in the wrong seat and you get into a crash,
I know.
it could lead to a serious injury.
I know.
So you're 100% sure you have the right car seat for your child's age and size?
I don't know.
Don't think you know. Know you know. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Make sure you have the right car seat. Visit safercar.gov/the right seat. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Excuse me. I know you have a 9 o'clock, so I'll keep this short. I'm the business suit in the back of your closet. You wore me nearly every day before your office went, quote, casual. I used to be the CEO of your closet. Now I'm just that one intern no one ever talks to. I always thought you'd circle back with me, get granular, keep me in the pipeline. But nada. Nothing. Don't you remember the McKittrick presentation? You spilled coffee on me, and I still looked amazing during the breakout talkback Q&A. So, I think it's time for me to move on. I've got a great resume, and I absolutely crush it in interviews, okay? Let's make this a clean break. Shift the paradigm. The only thing I ask is that you think outside the box here and do this. Take me to Goodwill, where I can really make a difference.
Your donations to Goodwill create new jobs, training programs, and education assistance for people in your community. To find your nearest donation center, go to goodwill.org. Donate stuff. Create jobs. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
The Devil's Advocates.
My Congresswoman Gwen Moore.
I think that you guys are filling a very important space. I think African Americans consume radio at a very high rate. And they really rely on radio for information. And so, word of warning to all those candidates out there, don't ignore these inexpensive ways to advertise.
Well, wait until we get our FM. They're going to get more expensive all the time.
Radio for the 99%. I would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for those meddling devil's advocates.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show live on Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network, on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter at Devil Radio, and the party line is open, 844-967-2789.
Let's get back to the phones.
Wisco Paul! Hey, man, thanks for calling. What do you got today?
Yeah, you guys, thanks for taking my call. Wow, somebody that will fix, not maybe fix, but will fix the roads with a gas tax. I think that's great. But the first ad against you, Crudy, will be Crudy wants to raise taxes. And how will you combat that ad? You know Scott Hull's going to run that against you. And just what would you say against, how do I say that? How would you fight against that ad? Thanks, Crudy, and it's pretty cool.
Thank you, Wisco Paul, for listening. How would I fight against that ad? I'd point out we need to fix the Scott holes in the road. To continue to kick the can down the road, tossing and scooping is not sound financial fiscal policy. And if this governor thinks that he's going to platitude and bumper sticker and word salad his way through the debates, he's got another thing coming.
844-967-2789. Jeff from Madison. You're next. Thanks for calling, Jeff. What do you got?
Hey, Jeff.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. So, I'm really, really excited about Crute's run for governor. It'd be really nice to have a articulate governor who I can actually stand listening to.
Well, it's one of those Jeff.
Yeah, it's one of those, it's what's time for a new governor.
He must go down.
Well, I do have to say that I am a little selfish, and I really hope that you do not give up your airtime anytime soon. Because I've been listening since almost the beginning, your Saturday afternoon shows back in Madison. I absolutely adore everything that you've done, and your community radio station, I believe that you're doing a really good service, not only to Wisconsin, but to the local communities in which you broadcast. And I don't think there's a lot of stations out there that are doing what you guys are doing, and, just being a little selfish, but I think that you guys have a really good thing, and it's going to be sad if you have to go up to the governor's mansion, but it's going to have a better resident than what we got now.
Let me ask you this. You remember when Scott Walker was running for president and he was phoning it in for 15 minutes a day? You mean to tell me I couldn't do an hour or two of radio at the end of my business day? I don't think, even with my inevitable election, why would I give up my day job? I got the greatest day job ever if it just paid a little better.
Well, I'm not quite as articulate as you are, but if you need somebody to counter Dom in your absence, I'd gladly phone that one in.
Hey, thanks, Jeff. We certainly appreciate it. Listening for a long time. I don't want him going anywhere either, man. I mean, one of the joys that I have in doing this is I get to bust chops with my good friend from college. I mean, who gets to do that at the level we get to? So,
you mean at the Hall of Fame broadcast,
yes.
Greatest radio show ever level, Dom?
Some people say.
I mean, we're living the dream right now.
844-967-2789. Oh, I think we got time for one more caller. Bobby, Milwaukee. Thanks for calling, Bobby. What do you got?
You guys just mentioned that Brad Schimmel stole the stash off an Indian reservation recently. Well,
it's been a couple years. Menominee tribe. Gary Besaw was the tribal chief at that time. They tried, as I understood, permitted by law. They tried growing marijuana, and Schimmel came and took it all away.
Ignored national sovereignty means nothing. In other words, well, the feds do the same thing. There's a new study out of University of Michigan says that the U.S. has attacked 76 countries in the last several years, invading other countries' sovereignty, countries that aren't enclaves of the U.S., countries that we haven't committed genocide against necessarily. So, we set the precedent nationally. Of course, the governors and their cronies are going to follow the example. If the feds can get away with it, so can the states.
Bobby, appreciate the phone call. Thanks for being the last one today. I got to tell you, Bobby, I've got no foreign policy experience. I've been to Cancun a couple times.
Well, I think maybe we need to go to England, perhaps, and bone up on some foreign policy, Crudy.
Well, if they ask me about evolution, yes, I believe in science.
You're not going to punt?
I would not punt on that one. Thank you to our fine guest today, Shane Falk, a fine attorney now representing Crute for Wisconsin in that campaign.
And I want to thank the new Democratic gubernatorial candidate for the state of Wisconsin, Mike Crute. You can check him out online, cruteforwisconsin.com.
And on this big radio show tomorrow, Josh Call, Democrat Attorney General candidate. That's the one I'm voting for. Have a great night. Do it again tomorrow.
He's highly respected, very good guy, very smart guy. The Democrats like him, the Republicans like him.
Having a great time.
I didn't get a harumph out of that guy.
Wisconsin's doing terribly. The roads are a disaster because they don't have any money to rebuild them. They're borrowing money like crazy. They projected a $1 billion surplus, and it turns out to be a deficit.